You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's October 26, 2021. Well, if you're like me, you probably quit smoking decades ago. If you're not like me, you might still be smoking. Or if you're like me, you're always looking for something to invest in that looks like it has a unlimited growth potential future. Well, you're about to hear about a cigarette replacement. You smoke it, but it has no nicotine, and it has no tar, and it's made from hemp. Well, I'll let Setti Coscarella tell you all about it. Just give you the website. It's taatglobal.com. That's TAAT global.com. Setti, it's great to have you on the show. So basically, you're doing a non-tobacco based cigarette here that's got CBD in it that gives you a lot of the benefits of smoking without the obvious harm that comes from consuming nicotine-laced tobacco.
Well, that's right, Kerry. Thanks for having me on. What we've been able to do at TAAT is create an alternative to traditional cigarettes without using tobacco, without using nicotine, while still able to satisfy the taste profile of a cigarette. So we figured out how to make our biomass taste like tobacco, and it'll behave like tobacco. So it'll still give smokers that sense of calm that they're otherwise looking for. But the product itself doesn't contain tobacco, doesn't contain nicotine. And, the molecule we deliver, which is CBD, is non-addictive. So I think from a value proposition, when you think about it from the smoker's perspective, it's extraordinarily high, because it doesn't matter what other product the tobacco companies are offering, whether it be cigarettes, whether it be vape, patches, gums, lozenges, snus. I mean, there's a whole host of other products. They're all overly reliant on the consumer otherwise being addicted in order to continue consuming it. With our product, we didn't want to go that route, because I used to work at Philip Morris. I've worked with thousands of smokers, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find a single one that enjoys that they're addicted to anything, let alone smoking. So while everybody else is sort of trying to change the format, we wanted to change the addictive nature of the product so that we could give our consumers the power to choose back. So if you want to smoke, smoke. You don't want to smoke, don't smoke. And I think that you can achieve that when you switch to TAAT.
All right. So you were kind of in the belly of the beast, right?
Yep.
And what was that like when you knew half these people were basically going to kill themselves over time?
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, you're offering a product to people that, they'll make the choice to want to consume. And I think when it comes to tobacco, the challenge was it's still addictive because of the nicotine. I mean, the way nicotine works, it's an otherwise useless drug. It doesn't do anything. There's no efficacy to it. There's no real reason you should consume it. And its only function is to create and feed itself from an addiction point of view. So I think when you take a look at the market as a whole, you've got almost 1.5 billion smokers worldwide. Again, I don't think any single one of them wants to consider themselves as an addict. So if we can give them a better option, and I do think TAAT is the best option on the market, I'd be hard pressed to find a smoker that wouldn't at least give it a shot. So the goal for us is to try to put this in front of as many smokers around the world as we can.
Okay. So we're basically giving them a substitute that's non-harmful, that will give you the oral pleasure, satisfaction. And how does the CBD work exactly? What does that provide?
Well, the CBD itself sort of operates as a calming anti-anxiety, but it has anti-anxiety type properties. So when you apply it to smoking, it has the ability to give that sense of calm, right? The reason people smoke the reason people continue to smoke oftentimes is because of the way nicotine works. Nicotine's got a half-life of 45 minutes in the blood. So after an hour, a smoker feels agitated, angry, something's upsetting them. They go outside, they have a smoke, they calm down. Smoking doesn't calm you down. If I gave a cigarette to somebody who doesn't smoke, wouldn't do anything other than make them a bit nauseous. So when you have a half-life of 45 minutes, a smoker's effectively walking around all day in perpetual withdrawal. And every time they have a cigarette, it just knocks them out of a state of withdrawal. With TAAT, you're not triggering that effect. It naturally has a calming effect, which is what the smoker is otherwise looking for. And I think that we can provide that without having to go through the addiction response system in the brain. So that's why I do think that TAAT is a fundamentally better option than any tobacco or nicotine-based product in the market.
So are you just supposed to be basically using TAAT for the rest of your life, or is it a smoking cessation tool? What's involved here?
I think it's a replacement. So when we offer that replacement to smokers, they really have the power to then decide for themselves, because you're not going to have a physiological dependency to a drug. So if you want to smoke, smoke. If you don't want to smoke, don't smoke. I mean, I look at it in a similar way to alcohol. Okay. If tobacco were alcohol, all of its consumers would be alcoholics. Alcohol does just fine without relying on all of its consumers to be alcoholics. So why can't we apply that frame of reference to tobacco and give smokers the choice? No different than you have a choice if you want to drink. You want to have a drink, drink. You don't want to have a drink, don't drink. And I think that we can do the same thing on smoking, because for a lot of smokers and even ex-smokers, they still enjoy the act of smoking. If it weren't addictive, but still gave you a similar taste profile and effect where you could control your own consumption, I think that's better.
All right. So people have been trying to come up with the safe cigarette, et cetera, for centuries, probably, at least decades that we know of. And they've used sage, they've used all sorts of different herbs, you name it. Why is this one going to succeed where all the other ones have failed?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Today's show is brought to you by Mustango River Resources. Their flagship projects are located in Kirkland Lake, an established gold camp that has historically produced over 70 million ounces of gold. The Kirkland West project is a high-grade gold project beside Kirkland Lake Gold's world-class Macassa gold mine, one of the highest-grade mines in the world. The Umeja project is an advanced stage project with 600,000 plus ounces of gold along the Cadillac Break, 25 kilometers east of Macassa. Their projects have the potential to transform into another world-class mining camp in the Kirkland Lake District. Make sure you go over to Mustango.com. That's Mistango.com. Take a look and sign up for notifications. Stock is traded on the Canadian Stock Exchange, ticker symbol MIS. For more information and to sign up for notifications, go to Mustango.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
I think it's taste profile. You can smoke sage and it's going to taste like you're smoking sage. You also roll up a bunch of dried leaves in their backyard and it'll taste like you're smoking grass clippings. That's the problem with a lot of these other substitutes. The flavor profile never matches, right? If you think about it from a tobacco standpoint, I can't think of anything someone consumes with the frequency of cigarettes and doesn't get sick of the taste, right? You have somebody that'll smoke 20 of the same thing every day for 20 years, and on the next day, they'll buy the same thing. I mean, I like pizza, but I can't have 20 slices of pizza every day and not get sick of the taste. So when we were looking at trying to create a product that we felt would succeed in this marketplace, we spent a lot of time and effort trying to match and enhance the flavor profile of our product so that when a smoker would switch to it, they're not going to notice a difference. It's going to taste as good, if not better than whatever cigarette they're smoking. That's really the key to why I think this product can succeed.
So there's certain trigger events that cause people to smoke. For instance, having a pizza, garlic, drinking at a bar, all these other things. I don't know if they're physiological triggers or psychological triggers. Probably with your background at the evil Philip Morris, you would know better than me. Is this going to work for those events?
I think so, because again, it's one of the reasons why I don't think vape sticks very well with actual smokers. From that category standpoint, if you take a look at a lot of the markets they operated in, they would peak, then plateau, and then crash. And the stickiness of consumers oftentimes is based on people who weren't in the category in the first place. So when you think about it from a smoker's point of view, and I've worked with smokers on transitionary products to figure out what they like about it, what they don't like about it, and why they would make a switch. And oftentimes they'll make a switch for a brief period of time, maybe a few months, and then they end up going back to smoking cigarettes because they prefer that experience to the experience that, say, a vape or an alternative product like Heat Not Burn would provide. So when we were looking at creating a product, we wanted to match the predominant experience, which is physically smoking, and give them what I believe is a better product to do that thing that they prefer. And when it comes to some of those things, oftentimes it's psychological, and you just feel like you'll prefer this over something else. Like if you talk to a smoker, you could go for a meal at your favorite restaurant, you finish the dinner, and nobody's going to say, pass the jewel, right? It just doesn't hit the same way. And we wanted to give our consumers something that I think they would enjoy as much, if not more so, than a cigarette.
Right. All right. Well, hey, it's fascinating. So as far as the company goes, how many stores are you in now?
We're in just over 1,300 across the U.S., over 20 states. We've also landed some distribution deals in the U.K., Ireland, and Australia. And we're working with distributors throughout Europe to try to bring the product there as well.
All right. And how much does the pack of these sell for?
We typically try to offer them at a discount to whatever leading brand is in that market. Now, there's price variations throughout the US, but we typically like to be in and around the $4.99 range, whereas a pack of Marlboro would typically be about $8. So we want to be able to provide our consumers, on top of the value proposition that I think TAAT naturally has, we also want to be able to save them money if they want to make the switch too.
Right, because you're not going to be taxed like you would be for nicotine, because you don't fall into that category, right? It's not tobacco. It's a non-tobacco smokable product. Do you ever anticipate actually making a market inroads into this multi-$100 billion a year market?
Well, absolutely. I think we're doing that as we speak, right? We're getting into more and more stores. We're adding more and more states, and we're working with distribution deals to add more and more countries. I mean, if you take a look at the market as a whole, there's about 1.5 billion smokers worldwide. The global market is almost $1 trillion a year. And to put it in comparison, I like to call this the Mount Everest of markets, but bottled water, I believe, is at 250 billion. So tobacco is 4 times as big as water. That's how big this market still is.
That big, huh? That's pretty amazing. All right. Well, we're going to watch this closely. People want to find out more about it. I guess the best place to do, both as an investor and a potential consumer, is go to TAAT, TAAT Global.com. Is there any way to buy this over the internet? Because since you're not shipping a tobacco product over state lines, you should be able to.
That's right. So you can go to trytaat.com, and we actually have a feature there where we'll send you the first pack for free. So if you register with us and you pick which pack you want, we'll send it for you and you can try it for yourself.
All right. And there's a menthol, smooth, and original.
That's right.
Hey, well, I'm going to get a free pack of it, and I'm going to write a review for you. How's that sound?
Sounds great to me.
All right. Appreciate that. Setti, thanks so much for stopping by. If you got a question about TAAT or you want to email Setti, just send it to me, kl@kerrylutz.com. We'll shoot it off to Setti, get you a response, and appreciate your stopping by. We'll be following the story closely and hopefully have you back on soon to get an update on it.
Sounds great, Kerry. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.